the music came by way of the military. A friend of a fellow soldier of mine, Sergeant Harris, what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
We He came to me. He was like, "I know you looking for stuff to invest in. I know you're doing well in the, what you're doing, and um, what do you think about, invest or looking at an artist?" And I was like, "Okay." And mind you, this is in Montgomery, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "My brother's managing this artist in Australia," and I was like, "In Australia?"
Australia.
But his brother was a clothing designer and was a clothing designer with Cross Colors
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and was doing some stuff over there with some other clothing brands. And he had moved. His brother had moved there, and
Okay.
was in the Marine too. But he got out the Marines, and
Mm.
he was doing clothes and design.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up managing his artist. So I said, "Well, send me the stuff. Let me see what he is." So they ended up sending me this stuff, and the kids it was number one R&B, the like the progenitor of R&B, what they call R&B
Mm-hmm.
pop. It would be pop here, but R&B there
In Australia.
in Australia. But he was
Wow.
the number one R&B sensation in Australia. And he was signed to Sony Music,
Wow.
Australia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on today? Welcome back to We Create Music TV. Welcome to the Indie Unplugged. I am your host, Vaughan, and today I got an extraordinary guest, one of the homies. Look, I've been looking forward to this interview. So, as I always do, let me give the introduction to my man, Prince Howard. He is a distinguished figure in the music industry, renowned for his extensive contribution as an executive, A&R specialist, publisher, distributor, and manager. As the CEO of Pacific Music Publishing and president of Royalty Genius, he has played a pivotal role in shaping the careers of numerous artists and advancing the industry's landscape. Over the past 2 decades, Prince has earned more than 60 gold, platinum, and multi platinum plaques, collaborating with prominent names such as Beyonce, Lyrica Anderson, 21 Savage, Moneybagg Yo, Pooh Shiesty. His visionary leadership has expanded Pacific Music Publishing's reach from Atlanta all the way to London, ladies and gentlemen, establishing it as a top tier multinational music company, publishing, artist management. Ladies and gentlemen, look, I want to give it up for my guy, my man, the one and only super visionary, super entrepreneur, Prince Howard.
Wow. Yeah. My guy. Yeah, what's good,
My
man?
guy. You know, I've been looking forward to this interview.
Man, look,
So,
man, this is I think it's probably what a year and a half in the making.
yeah,
Because I'm always out of
he's always out
town
of town.
or
I be like,
timing or whatever was going
right,
on. So
right,
I'm glad to be here right now.
man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you.
So
Definitely.
I'm like, where you at? Hey, I'm not here. Like, dang, dang.
Uh,
So I always give context to how I meet people, and you can always tell me your side of the
okay.
story. Um, but I was at the time on the steering committee for AIMP,
Yes.
the Atlanta chapter when we were starting up the Atlanta chapter here,
Right. Right.
and we were at a meeting, but I think we were had at the kickoff event,
Right.
and there were tons of people there, right? Everybody was suited and booted. Everybody looked, coming in sharp.
Right.
Um, and I think I was talking to Paul. I think I was talking to Paul,
Right. Right.
and then you came over and you introduced yourself. Um, and we kind of chopped it up a little bit,
Right.
exchanged
Right.
information. Um, but yeah, and that interaction kind of sparked. that relationship over that certain period of
Right.
time to where
Right.
now we're sitting here today having this
Right.
conversation.
Exactly.
Um, but I always tell people you never know who you meet
Right.
and what people really do,
Right.
and the contribution that they make to the music industry.
Right. Right.
And
It's
so
crazy.
it's so crazy. That's why I always tell people you got to go out and you got to network, you got to research, you got to be in situations where you're meeting people,
Right.
because you're going to meet some amazing people if you just step outside of maybe
Yeah, your
the
comfort zone.
confines of the
Yeah.
spaces that you're in.
That's it.
So
That's what I
yeah,
always say. I'm never in a clique, but I'm always moving around and being able to be involved in different people with
yeah.
different people, and that's what kind of defines who I am because I'm Atlanta, and Atlanta is a broad place,
Mm.
and so I've never been pigeonholed with one set of group of people. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've worked with a lot of people.
Mm.
So, and then I've lived different places and experienced different cultures and people. My mom traveled all over the world, so she instilled in us being able to reach out across the table.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when you are able to know and learn that at an early age, it kind of sparks who you end up becoming. And so a lot of your foundation is from your family and who people
Mm-hmm.
you're around. And that's what I love about the music industry because it's so many different facets and different people
So
and
many.
different cultures and different beliefs and you know they're all coming to something that ends up changing the trajectory of what people think because if we look back to even slavery, music was what slaves communicated to each other through
That's true.
in the field. And, you know what I'm saying? Then it moved on to, the civil rights movement and marching. And music was a part of,
Mm-hmm.
the civil rights songs, that my aunts and my grandmother and my grandfather sang. So music is something that changes thought patterns, and if you notice and if you know science, you understand that through the brain you can actually move people's feelings and emotions to certain things based upon the music that they listen to.
Yeah, that's
So
yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, no, that's facts though, because
yeah,
music, of course, is frequency,
yeah, that's
right?
it.
And frequency and brain waves operate on frequency, and so you have the ability to play music, and music can literally change the perspective, the
Oh
mood that a
man,
person has,
all day long.
all day long. I mean, you could be in a foul mood and hear a great song, and that song just uplifts you,
It
and you just
changed your whole day. Like
it could change the whole dynamic of everything. That's why I love,
I-
but that's why I love music though.
and it can change you to do negative things too if
It
you listen
can.
to the wrong
It can.
type. So
It can.
that is part of my story. Growing up is my mom and my dad we couldn't listen to R&B and none of that. We listened to gospel.
Gospel.
Vanessa Bell, Calloway, Tremaine Hawkins, Edwin Hawkins, Walter Hawkins, the Winans,
Mm-hmm.
the Clark sisters, you know what I'm saying? On down, Rance Allen, you name it, from the gospel, Shirley Caesar, a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of Shirley Caesar, a whole lot of
It's a
Shirley.
whole lot of Shirley Caesar.
but but that was the beginning of our musical journey. Me and my brother sang and
Oh, really?
yeah, we
I didn't know that.
sang. Yeah. My voice is terrible now. We changed it. It
Mine
got
too.
yeah, when
Mine
I
too.
transitioned. And my mom sang and my aunt Wanda, who's also my godmother, my mom's sister, they sang together.
Mm.
And then my aunt has a degree from Spelman in music. So they sang at Dante's Down the Hatch here in Atlanta,
Okay.
just an old jazz spot
Mm-hmm.
that used to be in underground. So they were like professional,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So my mom, when we in the choir, it's like, I need you to sing A flat, go. It was
Yes.
just, so it just became just
Yes.
pressure, you know what I'm saying? Me
Mhm.
and my brother, we would sing in front of our family at every gathering. So we were like, man, I can't wait till my voice changed. So I won't have to do this no more.
Had to do the Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Get in here and sing.
yeah.
Come in here and
Or
perform.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Go come in here and tell a
Tell
joke. Make us laugh. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that was our family. If you ask my cousins right now, it's 20 some of us. They'll be like, we remember Prince and William singing at every family Christmas gathering.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or some type of recital, or King Martin Luther King, or my mom was real serious about that type of stuff. So I never wanted to be a singer or anything or aspired to that. So me being in the music industry is totally against everything that we grew. I mean, in terms of wanting to do this, like, as a career. No, it was never on
your list.
No, it was on my list.
It wasn't your aspirations. I mean, my aspirations, I wanted to be a singer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wanted to be a singer.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Stop playing.
I was in choir from a little youngin'.
Okay.
All the way to high school.
So you in the Glee Club and all that.
Yeah, you could say something like that. Yeah.
Let me interview you. So how did you matriculate into
bruh? Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, right? Is we find ourselves doing something in the very beginning as we were young,
right,
and then transitioning to something still relatable, but different, right?
But different, yeah.
Different field. Well, same field, but different kind of trajectory.
Right.
But yeah, I grew up as a
that's good to know.
Yeah, I grew up as a singer. And I never met any of the famous people in my family who are singers, though. I never had a chance to meet.
That's crazy.
To meet any of them. If I ever get interviewed one day, I'll tell people.
Yeah.
I'm like, I never met Whitney. I have no idea. I mean,
wow.
I only learned these things through, did you know? You ever heard those conversations?
Yeah.
Did you know your aunt? You got like the old aunt.
Yeah.
Did you know that y'all related to Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
And I was in St. Louis, and I was talking about Dennis Edwards. Living in St. Louis.
Right.
Here they go. Did you know that you related to Dennis Edwards? He's like your third cousin. I was like, no, you should go and meet him. I'm like, yeah, how is it gonna look? Gonna not. Hey, what's up, Dennis Edwards? I'm your third cousin. Nah, that ain't gonna fly.
That's a hard introduction. That's a hard one.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Especially if you didn't grow up, you know what I'm saying? Like in my family, it's crazy. The Howard family on my mom's side is crazy because that you mentioned that is that my my mom's first cousins, which would be my second or third cousin, it's like my uncles, and we're that close. So we can go down 4 or 5, fourth cousin, and we know each other like, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're close. And when families talk about, and when I hear my friends talk about barely knowing their first cousin.
That is true, though.
I'm like, man, my third cousin, my great uncle was like my grandfather, because him and my brothers. So he was like, you go to the funeral home because our family owned businesses in Montgomery and Alabama. And when we go to Montgomery, man, first stop, Howard and Howard's funeral home, we're going to see Uncle Buddy, tap it in. He had the shoe horn and had his shoes in the back.
Shoes in the back with the shoe horn in the shoe.
Crispy, man.
Bro.
Sharp as a tack, hair smooth back. You talk to him.
Well, that's back in the day, brothers was. I mean, but when you really think about it, back in the day, brothers, that was the.
Yeah, that's the presentation.
That was the presentation
because you had to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in a world where we weren't given a lot of the opportunities that we should have in our communities. We had people that we looked up to that, presented themselves in that business format.
Yeah.
And that was how my family was.
Yeah.
On my mom's side, it was a business, clean cut, very on point. You spoke a certain way.
Yeah.
You handled customers because we had a barbershop and a taxi cab company. So it was a service type of industry and family businesses. So we were serving the community, you know what I'm saying? So, and they were serving the community. So that's how they were, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, hey.
Yeah, now, we don't dress like that no more though.
Nah,
but
I try to keep it, um, dress casual and always try to keep the appearance because
Mm-hmm.
the first thing people see is you
Right.
in your presentation before they see anything else. Before you even open your mouth, that is what they are looking at
That's right.
from head to toe,
That's
or
right.
from toe to head, depending on who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were always taught that, always presentation, and that carried over to what I military, me as a financial consultant and having my
Mm-hmm.
own company and insurance and clients and music, whatever I did.
Right.
You know.
So let's kind of go back a little bit and talk a little bit more about your trajectory, right? Because
Right,
you just said a lot that's in there.
right, right,
So of course you went into the military. So kind of just talk about how, you transitioned from growing up and then
right, right.
getting into the
Definitely.
military and the impact of that. And
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. So my family, my grandmother and grandfather both are from Montgomery, Alabama. Uh, my grandfather and his two brothers,
mm,
they called them the Howard brothers. My great uncle Jeremiah, Prince Albert, who I'm named after, and then Uncle Buddy were business people.
mm,
Their father was a landowner in one of the counties outside of Montgomery, and they
mm-hmm.
moved into the city, sold his land, and moved into the city and bought 2 streets of
Wow.
land. So the family lived on one street, and we lived on the other street.
Wow.
The Howard family.
Yeah.
So all the brothers, aunts, sisters, everybody lived on 2 streets. So they bought those 2 streets and he put his sons in business. And my grandfather, Prince Albert Howard, was kind of the organizer. He was the
Mm,
business and organizer and put all the businesses. So we had a barbershop,
mm-hmm.
good service barbershop, good service taxi, and then Howard and
Mm-hmm.
Howard's funeral home. So one brother
Okay.
ran the funeral home, one brother ran the barber shop, and one brother ran the taxi cab company.
Wow.
So, and he oversaw all the finances,
Okay.
um, and he was an awesome man. He was great friends with Dr. King. We helped in the bus boycott in 1955. Our taxi cab company was one of the taxi cab companies that transported the walkers back and forth to work during that year and a half
Wow.
uh, bus boycott. You know, of course, Mr. Parks, Rosa Parks' husband, worked as a barber in our barber shop. We were the first
Oh
black
wow.
business in Montgomery on the main street that led to the Capitol.
Mm.
Our barber shop was the first. We were the first black entrepreneurial family that owned multiple businesses there. We've been in business 82 years. Our hair salon is still going to this day,
Wow.
which my cousin Prince runs now.
Wow.
He's about 85. He goes in and cuts hair. I'm like, what is going on? So this is the backdrop
mm-hmm.
of what
Mm-hmm.
we end up becoming. So after my grandfather passed, my grandmother moved to Atlanta in '68
Okay.
at the request of, Miss King and Miss Abernathy. They were like, bring those children, y'all move on up here. Because at that time, it was so unsafe for leaders who uh, created change.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather and his brothers were those people. And he was one of those people in Montgomery
Mm.
during that time. So, and he died under mysterious circumstances in hospital after a
Yeah.
checkup. Weird, right? Real.
Weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they were afraid for my grandmother's life
Yeah.
with my mother and her 7 siblings. So she moved to Atlanta, and man, she, of course, automatically got into the political scene. She worked with Maynard Jackson as his first campaign coordinator, community campaign
Mm.
coordinator, helped him get elected. Uh, was a major force with the Bronner Brothers and the first Bronner Brothers show. She was the
Mm-hmm.
coordinator for years and sat on the board
Wow.
for that. Uh, so she was inundated in Atlanta culture and the beginnings of what we see now as Wakanda, black Wakanda Atlanta.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Black
saying?
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Right.
So then my mom, was here and graduated. 6 of my aunts graduated from Harper High School, which is on the west side.
Mm.
Uh, and so that's where I was born, and here in Atlanta. And I ended up going to Harper, and some of the same teachers that taught my aunt taught me.
Right.
We know
we
what you
know
gonna do.
exactly.
Cause your mama was a salutatory, your aunt was a
Exactly.
valedictorian, and then
And
this
so
and
now
that.
you got big
So
shoes to fill. You're like,
man,
oh,
what?
pressure.
But it was good because my mom had homeschooled us for about 3 or 4 years, and we came in, we were different, of course, when we got in high school, and man, we had a good time. I loved Atlanta, and I love, everything about growing up here because my grandmother knew everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, on any Saturday morning, you would have Leon Hall, who was the chief of staff for Maynard Jackson, at eating breakfast with us. uh, Mr. Bronner used to stop by the house. Miss King, Miss Abernathy, and Christine Ferris, Dr. King's sister, used to come over almost every other Saturday morning or every Saturday morning for at one point, because my grandmother was a cosmetologist by trade and taught cosmetology at Atlanta Area Tech.
Ah, man.
And they would be there in the kitchen getting their hair done.
Yep.
And I remember this at 5 years old, running around. Which grandchild is that? Oh, that's Little Prince. And my brother William, we would be running around, and we'd go and sit on Miss King's lap. And, it was, and so this is the type of backdrop of me growing up. And then my mom, was a master cosmetologist. She ended up going into ministry. They had a church. She ended up getting married to my stepdad. And they had a church at 9 years old, and we moved to North Carolina, came back for high school. Then we ended up moving my 11th grade year back to Montgomery because my mom, moved back, and man, graduated from high school, went to the military that summer because my mom was like, I think you all need some more discipline. I'm like, Mom, any more, but shoot, any more discipline we need is like, I don't get it, because growing up in our house was different. You know what I'm saying? It was not the average, experience that my friends were growing up with. But I understood later on why it was that way. And I tell everybody, she was our first drill sergeant. My stepdad was in the Marine Corps, retired Army. So I went to the National Guard that summer, went to basic training Fort Benning. And then we started college like 2 weeks later at Sanford University in Birmingham.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how that happened. And that's the backdrop, in a short, of where I come from. And then, what led me, kind of the beginning of what led me into, I guess, this music path, which is the second part is the college part, then getting married and other things. So,
man, that's one hell of a backdrop, brother. My goodness.
Yeah.
Like, that is one hell of a backdrop.
Yes.
And it kind of sets you up to have that perspective, that mindset, that focus, that drive. And sometimes it can work for the positive and the negative, right?
Right.
You could be in that situation, it's like, yo, this is so much. Y'all are involved in so much. I don't know if I want to do that. I kind of want to, because you kind of hear people growing up in families where it's like everybody in the family's a doctor. And then this person's like, yeah, I'm going to be a video game guy. That's what I want to do.
What are you doing?
Right. I don't want to do the family,
the family
thing. Business. But that speaks volumes to who you are as an individual based upon the backdrop that you were raised in.
Right.
And so that set the foundation. And once again, not a lot of people have that type of upbringing. I sure didn't. You know,
Yeah,
I definitely didn't have that type of backdrop.
yeah,
Had a
right,
dad who wasn't there.
right,
Had a mom who eventually was on drugs.
right,
Yeah, I got a whole crazy. Somebody
right,
interview.
right.
Somebody. We're gonna do an interview
Yeah,
with
yeah,
me one
yeah,
day.
yeah. I'll do
But
that. I'll do that.
he said he gonna. um, but everybody has a different story.
Right,
Everybody
right,
has a different trajectory, and that either. So my wife and I, we did this thing with our children. I call them my children. They're grown men,
right,
right?
right, right, right,
But still, they're kids. They always be our children. But um, because we want to see them develop and grow and to be
right,
the best that they can be. So we had this thing called what do we call it? 2125, I think is what we called
right,
it.
right, right,
Um, and we were talking about just how different people make different choices in life.
right.
And at a certain age when you should be set up to be ready to be successful, have your own business, start your own family or whatever that may be. Most people are probably trying to figure it out while some people are already growing
Right,
and develop
right,
because of life
right.
choices and
Exactly.
different things that happen.
And you know what? And this is the thing. When you realize and you grow and you understand human development
Mm-hmm.
and people, you understand that everybody has a different background.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's going to be some that parallel in terms of what,
Right,
certain things, but however we get there, it doesn't matter. It's what the steps we take and what we learn along the way
Mm-hmm.
to propel us to decisions that will make us successful and get us to where we
Mm-hmm.
need to be. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Whether we didn't have a mom or dad, my dad wasn't there either. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But good thing my mom married and we ended up having that father figure there.
Same.
And she always kept us around. I had my uncles and men around and we were at church, so we had church
Mm-hmm.
figures that were good, not the bad ones, but we had good ones. So,
Not
you
the
know what I'm
bad,
saying?
right?
So my thing is that my story isn't perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I
I don't think
learned,
anybody's is, but
I learned, I don't even talk to my dad right now and I'm 47. I don't talk to
mm-hmm.
him at all. I don't talk to my brother and my sister that he had with his wife. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my brother that we had the same mother, but at the end of the day, none of our stories are perfect. But at the
That's
end of the
right.
day, it doesn't matter because whatever decisions we make in life are going to propel us to what we really need to be doing. And God is the one that controls it all at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So however we get there is when we get there. You know what I'm
How we
saying?
get there is how we get there. I would agree with that. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. Nobody's life is perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody's decisions that they make in life is going to be always the right decision.
Right. Right.
I made some terrible decisions
Right.
in life. I made some great decisions.
Right.
And they all eventually led to where I am today. You know how most people ask you the question: if there was something in your life that you can go back 10 years from now, would you change? I was like, I wouldn't change anything.
Right.
Because everything that I've gone through made me into the person that I am today.
Exactly.
The experiences that I have being in the military, growing up with my grandfather who was a sergeant major.
Oh wow, yeah.
And a high level Mason.
Wow, yeah. My dad was a
brother,
Mason.
and my
Grandfather was a Mason.
and my grandfather's from Alabama.
Oh wow,
So
dope, dope, dope. What
not
part?
not Montgomery.
Mobile.
No.
Okay.
Birmingham,
Birmingham, Huntsville. Okay, probably somewhere in the middle.
It's in that area.
Slap Out, Alabama. It's a place called Slap Out.
Slap Out.
Hey, I did the same thing. Hey, look, when my mom
Slap
moved
out.
to Montgomery, I was like, "Why did you bring us to this desolate place?"
Right.
But then we realized how much connection my grandfather's name in that city. When I started my business, started doing what I was doing, and I said Prince Howard. Wait, hold up. Who's your? Wait. Your grandfather is PA? Is PA your grandfather? Or PA your cousin? What's going on? I said that's my family. That's my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Come on in. I give you a shot. People don't understand how much that counts and that's worth. And my career was easy.
Exactly.
when I started my business, my office, it was easy because it was like I would go places and I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know because my mom was the historian of the family. So she let me know a lot of different things that I didn't know. And my grandmother always used to talk to us about our grandfather and different things. But I really saw it when I got there. So I understood why my mom brought us back there. But I was like, man, I want to go back to Atlanta, finish at Harper. Why are we here? You know, we were upset with her. And my dad, I'm like, bro, this is crazy.
It's crazy.
But then we realized when I came back after my third year and I left college for not making good grades because I was on 20 in college.
20?
Man, I wasn't on 10. Matter of fact, and my mom don't even know half the stuff I was doing.
My mom didn't know half the stuff that I was doing in high school. My mom didn't know half the stuff that I do in high. Look, parents don't really know.
Yeah,
because kids don't really have those types of conversations with, their children at that level.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna say it, but it is what it is. Like nobody's life is perfect.
Yeah.
Like I was allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
I'm gonna say allegedly.
Allegedly
a big time thief, bro.
Oh man.
Oh, bro. High school.
It's gone and popping.
Bruh. I remember going into
turn around and all your pencils gone. Hey man, I know I had 5 number 2. You know, pencils was big
in high school. Oh, them pencils were.
Look,
pencils.
Especially the click, the mechanical joints, because they wrote real nice and sharp.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Man, I remember going into so I went to high school in Germany, right?
Okay,
and so there is a completely different type of culture. I went to a military high school in a actual German town, German city.
Mm-hmm.
There was a military high school facility right outside of the barracks, right outside the base, and so we had access to all the German stores. So there was this German store that sold a lot of American sports memorabilia,
right?
And a lot of the kids in high school didn't really want to pay for all that stuff, so they were like, "It was good." I'm like, "I got you. Don't worry about it." Man, I used to come back with stuff and sell it at the school.
Right.
And then one day I went into the store and this is how I knew that something was on, because I walked into the store and they were like, "All eyes on the floor."
Right.
And I heard it over the intercom and I'm like, "Yo, all eyes on the floor. What does that mean?"
Right.
Oh, somebody's watching. Okay, cool. So I didn't do nothing. I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
You stop. Yeah.
I'm good." Because
that's good. Some people would have kept going and got caught.
Oh, I came back. I did. I came back. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I had all types of stuff. When my mom came back to the States because my grandfather was sick, she came back to the States to kind of take care of him for a little bit. When she came back, I had all brand new wardrobes.
Man.
The lady that I was staying with, because my stepfather was, and he was of course in the military. He was in Desert Storm, and my mom was over back here in Virginia, and I was like, "Yo, I'm staying in school." She was like, "Okay, cool." So she made arrangements for me to stay with one of her friends, and while she was gone, her friend was like, "Yo, where's he getting all these clothes?" Like, this kid ain't got no job.
Yeah,
he coming in with fresh UNLV jerseys.
Man. Oh, you were doing it big.
I was doing it. Yeah, I don't do that no more though. But But anyway, so the second half of that story, going now into coming from the military and going into college, being on 20, right, in college. I think I was on 20 in the military.
Right.
While you was on 20 in college, I was on 20 in the military.
Gotcha.
I mean, on 30 probably. Yeah, it was crazy. So talk about that a little bit, and then we'll jump into some of the more formalized questions, I guess.
Right. Well, I was in college and we went there, academics and debate, because we were debate team All-Americans in high school, me and my brother.
Wait, you was on the debate team?
Yeah, we were the kings. My good friend April Spencer, who's went to high school with us, who's one of the top breast cancer surgeons in the U.S. She's from here, from Atlanta, from the West Side. We all went to high school together. And she was reminding me how good me and my brother were. And she was like, even when we practice, because we used to have practice debates to get ready, she said, I never wanted to go up against them because the team policy debate we had down pat. Me and my brother were partners. we he skipped a grade, and so me and him we did everything together from ninth grade. We graduated together, high school, went to Army together, went to college together.
Wow.
Was my roommate in
Wow.
college. So she was telling us about that, but went to high college, got there, debate. I was the first I think, black freshman class president. You know, Sanford is probably 0.01 minority,
Wow.
and of the minority, black is like 0.0035. I don't know, but me and my brother were the first. Like when we came in our freshman year, we were the first. We were the only non sports guys that came in that were black. So, you know, we stuck out like a sore
That's
thumb.
crazy.
So went there. And then in college, you know, I think I found exactly in the first 2 years who I was. I mean, I knew already who I was, but I realized that school was a means to be enslaved mentally. I think the teachings, it was cool, but these are things that I already knew. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, why I want to go to school and why, you know, college was definitely a part of our family tradition. I have cousins, 4 cousins that graduate from Tuskegee University. I got a cousin that graduated from Stanford. Cousin, my aunt went to Hampton. My aunt went to Spelman. My other aunt has a law degree. EDS. She got about 9 degrees.
9 degrees.
You know what I'm saying? So my family, my aunts, and you know, all of them, you know, had college. My mom, theology, you know, studied Morris Brown, University of Hawaii. We lived out there with her, you know. So college was that thing. So I think I went because, you know, we were good academically in high school. We did well, and we just felt that that was cool. But I felt there was something else calling me. I don't know what it was, but while I was there, you know, I was involved in campus life, and then what ended up happening, discovered entrepreneurship even more. And there was a guy on campus who had these clothes. His dad was a national polo rep for Polo Ralph Lauren, and I cut hair because I picked up kind of the family thing. So I was cutting my brother's hair, my dad's hair, and so because I got tired of getting the bowl cuts from my dad, so it was so bad, and I was like, "Yo, somebody got to pick up some clippers because this can't continue to happen." So I ended up learning how to cut hair. You know, I watched my uncle. My uncle's was a cosmetologist, Barkley Howard. God rest his soul. He just passed away last year. Very close to him. He actually lived on this side in College Park. My cousin went to Banneker, superstar football player. But anyways, I learned cutting hair from him and watching him, and you know, on campus. And then my mom was a cosmetologist, trained Vidal Sassoon School of Cutting. You know, one of the tops. You know, here in the city of Atlanta. She did Monica Kaufman's hair. I mean, she was big. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of got a little bit of that, which was cutting hair. So I started cutting hair on campus and cutting the guy. So I made my money there. So this guy that I was cutting his hair, you know, because I know how to cut white boys' hair, fade them out, cut, do the. So I was
do the scissors, like
scissors and
comb,
with the comb and fade them. I had him looking fly. He was
Looking
like,
fly.
bro,
Like,
I went, why? So I was cutting his hair one day, and he was like, bro, and he was just talking to me, and we were talking about just clothes and fashion and stuff. And he liked the way that I dressed. And he was like, bro, I got my dad is a national polo rep, and he sends me a box of clothes, and I'm just tired of all this polo. I'm just tired of it.
tired of polo.
I mean, he opens up his closet in his dorm room, and man, he has all the polo shirts. I mean, everything. So I'm like, bro, how you tired of this? Like, I got to go pay.
He was like, you can have this. I'm tired of
Nah, what he did, but what opposite of what he did, he ended up, the box that he sent what had Purple Label in there, all types of shirts for the future
Wow.
coming
Yeah.
out, the samples. And he didn't want it. He was like, and the box was probably about maybe this high. And I said, man, what you gonna do? He said, I don't care, man. I got enough polo. I said, well, how about if I paid you a little money for the box and then I could just sell the clothes? Man, I bought the box from him probably, I mean, he took like a couple $100, I think. And I sold clothes
Wow.
on campus.
My man, and cutting heads, selling clothes.
And not only on campus, but I was going to like Miles College because it was in Birmingham. I ended up going to UAB, selling these clothes, and I had a nice little amount of money.
Yeah.
And so that box would come every month, and I would do that, cut hair. I had a work study job. I mean, I was making money. We had a car. We were like one of the only people, brothers that had car. So we had a Saab 900, silver tinted windows. My godfather passed away, gave us, and it happened to be our freshman year.
Wow.
And so we took that car up, and man, I started just focusing on getting money in college. And I was still going to drill. I was in the national, so I was getting that check. We would do special work where they would hire, the military would have us for 2 weeks work. And I'm just like, wait, hold up. I'm up here getting like $3 or $4 grand a month, close to $5 grand in college. I'm making more money. I'm flying. I'm on the plane. My mom, I'm flying to New Orleans. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to New York. I'm literally out of town. So my grades started suffering. And that academic probation came. They said, you gotta go home.
They were like, hey, bro, you gotta
sit
go
out
home, bro,
for a little bit.
Right.
And when I went home, my mom and dad was just like, look, you're gonna have to work, boy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, cool. I know what hard work is. And I think I stayed with one of the houses my mom them owned. My aunts were staying there. And so I ended up being their roommate. But roommate meant I paid part of the rent. I paid utilities. I cut the grass. I took out the trash. And I was responsible, and I had to make a decision about what I wanted to do. And in like 3 months, I had 3 jobs. I worked at a video store. I worked as a janitor at my dad's gig.
Yeah.
And I delivered pizza for Pizza Hut. And before I delivered pizza, I had those 2 jobs. And they were in walking distance. So I would walk from the house and walk every day back and forth. And that teaches you really how to humble yourself and do what you need to do to get where you need to get.
Do you see a difference in, because we're in the same generation,
Right.
and the work ethic of our generation and the work ethic of the new generation?
I do.
Or is it just different?
I think I think our generation, I mean, my daughter, she's 18. She's about to go to college. And it's not that she doesn't know how to work. She's worked, had a little summer job, done her thing. But I guess it depends on the parent and the upbringing that children, are getting. You know what I'm saying? That determines what's going to happen. And not all of us that have great upbringings are going to all turn out right. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if you had a base, then you're going to work hard. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen young people work hard, and I've seen some that don't work hard. But it's based on what's going on
in that house.
Before they come out here and be presented to us, into society. So, with us, my mom and dad, they didn't play. Like, bro, you got to get it. And my mom always said, you don't have, and I came home without a car when I was on academic. So I was like, hold up. And they weren't giving us nothing. And they could have went and as a co-sign, but my mom made sure we had good credit. She made sure that we understood what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to leverage that. So what I ended up doing was working hard. And then I used those checks, paid what I needed. And then I found a friend of mine's. I forgot his name. Lord forgive me. But he's from Atlanta. He was going to Alabama State. And he was selling cars. He had a wholesale license.
Dang.
And I'm like, wait, hold up.
Right.
He came in to rent videos. We started talking. And I'm like, yo, got a wholesale. I know everybody in Montgomery. I know the people over at Alabama State, you know. I said, let's create some partnership. I'll get the clients. You got the whole, because he didn't really know anybody,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And man, he took me to the auction. I went to the bank. The first car, I bought a couple cars. We had bought, after the Saab, I bought another car, but I had to share it with my brother. So it wasn't like it was my car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
It's both of us.
yeah, it's both. So this is my first car I bought by myself. I went to the bank. My credit was so good, I was able to get a $2,000 signature loan. That's on my signature without even checking my credit.
Checking nothing, just
Because I had an account there and I had built whatever. My dad had made sure that so I went and got a signature loan and got a Toyota Celica red with the drop, with the sunroof, with the push, disc changer and everything.
You see, y'all know what them disc changes back then, like we used to have. We used to have the 6 to 9 disc changer in the back,
and you had
hooked up to the trunk.
folder. Then you had your folder CDs sitting in the passenger seat,
and you driving like
and
this,
and you pulling out CDs, popping them in, pulling them out.
That's right,
switching them out. So I went and got this car, and the car, the alignment. The only thing was messed up was the alignment. I took it to the guy to get the alignment, and that's when I started delivering pizza. And that was my third job. And I paid that car off literally in probably less than a year. My car payment, I remember, was $89 a month on the $2,000
signature loan.
And I paid it for like 6 months, and then I just lump sum paid it off.
Exactly.
No, I ended up trading it in. That's what I ended up doing. But anyway, I had paid it off, but then I traded it in. But yeah, so that's what I did. And then I was in the Army, still getting my checks and doing drill, Army National Guard part-time. And then I got married at 22. And I had a full-time job. I went from 3 jobs down to the Pizza Hut because I was making enough money on tips and everything. And everything growing up, my mom and dad told us to do, if you're going to do it, be the best and look good doing it.
Be the best you can do.
And have the right attitude and treat people right. So I would dress up and deliver pizza. My clothes, I would be stylish with the Pizza Hut shirt.
I mean, walking out the crisp Pizza Hut shirt.
And I would deliver pizza. They'd be like, wow, got a Celica and he delivering the pizza. I get these nice tips. And thank you so much, And from then, I enrolled back in school, and I think I was at Troy State University at that time, Troy State University, Montgomery. And I decided, get married. And I got married at 22. But then I transitioned to a regular job. I was the assistant manager at a paint store. ICI Deluxe Paints. The Cadillac of paints.
The Cadillac of paints.
So I was assistant manager there. Brian Burnham was my manager and the store manager who hired me. And me and him, we talk to this day. And that's what you call keeping up and people knowing your journey.
Yeah.
And can validate what you've done and what you've been through and what how you came. And he was like, he hated to see me go when I left that job. I was married, and I answered an ad in the paper. It said, Aflac agent can make $65,000 to $120,000 a year. Aflac, the disability company.
Like I'm out. I gotta go make.
So I answered the ad, and they said, we'll pay for your insurance license and everything. And I was like, cool. And so I talked to my wife then. She was finishing her degree. We had been married we got married in August. I think I stopped that job. I had been working there probably a year and a half, and we worked all through our engagement and
At the
all of
Aflac?
that. No, at
At
the
the
ICW.
yeah.
And I actually proposed to her while delivering pizza to her house.
You delivered the pizza, and inside and on the pizza was a
Then
ring.
I said, "Will you marry me?" It was corny, but I don't know. I thought it was unique at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Look.
But anyways, I did that. Answered the ad. I asked her what did she think. She was like, "Go for it." You know, she was in college. She was in the military too. She was in the National Guard and finishing her degree. And
wow.
So I answered the ad, and this couple they took me underneath their wing and taught me everything about disability insurance, cancer policies. You know, Aflac had the whole thing: short-term disability, long-term, and I went on to becoming a salesperson because you're really selling a product, but you have to believe in the product now. You can't just sell BS. You know what I'm saying? So, for like 3 months, we got married in August. I'm like, I quit my job, and I'm just sitting here like, well, what are we doing? But we were getting like refund checks, and she was getting, you know, and I had my monthly check. So we were making ends meet. But I was like, man, I think my car got repoed then. I just got the first Ford Focus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember Ford Focus first came out? That's what I traded my Celica in for, which I should have kept my Celica. But I traded in for the Ford Focus. I want the Ford Focus.
Yeah, the Ford Focus was the bomb back in the day.
Yeah, it was so so I end up seeing that get repoed. I look out the thing and seeing it. The truck pulled up, and I said, "Hey babe, the car I think just got repoed."
Dang.
She was like, "Okay." I mean, we were young, so
I think it got repoed.
we like 22, 23. She was 20. I was 22. You know what I'm saying? So we were young. So I think the brashness of being young, you take those risks or whatever, and that's the risk I took. And I didn't make any money for like a few months. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no clients. I was beating the bushes. I'm answering, cold calling, doing everything. And we happened to go to a church there in Montgomery, and it was one of the top business people who actually got his hair cut at our family business. My cousin cut his hair, was his barber. And he didn't believe that I was a Howard. So, I've been trying to get at him and talk to him about maybe doing some policies for his company. Next thing you know, I walk in one day, I'm in a suit, and I walk into the family business just to say what's up to my family, check in, because we all do that, but that's what we do. And I was like, "Cousin PA." He was like, "What's up, cuz? How you doing?" My cousin Lloyd sitting there cutting somebody, and he's back getting his the company, the person who owns the company, and Greg Calhoun is his name. If you ever heard of Calhoun Enterprises, out of Montgomery, grocery store chain. They own telecommunications, the whole nine. That's who this person was.
Okay.
Greg Calhoun, great mentor. We used to talk all the time. He and his wife, Verlin, he passed away some years ago, but he was getting his beard, and he was set back in a chair, and he sat up, and he looked, and he was like, "You're Prince. He first he looked at my cousin. He said, "So that's Prince Howard?" He said, "Yeah, he's named after my uncle, P.A. Howard. That's his grandson." Yo, the frozen look he had was like, oh my God. And he apologized to me at that moment. He said, "I apologize. I did not know that you were really related to the house." Because a lot of people in the city would be like, "I'm related." That's my cousin.
I'm related to the house.
Especially
That's
if
my
you
cousin
have
right
big
there.
community leaders and stuff. So I had my grandfather's name. I'm the fourth. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that hard, but it was like, bam, this really is. He said, "Look, I've been trying to get a meeting with him. I'm going to church with you." And he was brushing me off. I'm like, "Man, come on."
Oh, I'm sure you got a meeting
that
after
day, we got a meeting because my cousin PA advises a lot of the black business people who opened businesses in Montgomery and showed them how to navigate the political scene and the business scene. So he was sort of like a mentor to a lot of black businesses that were successful. And Mr. Calhoun was one of those people that he mentored.
Wow.
Who was also a partner of Steve Harvey, if you know. And he used to be on the Black Enterprise 100 list every year.
Wow.
For 10, 15 years. 100 million gross. You see what I'm saying? So I got that meeting. And,
I'm sure.
And he put me on to his benefits coordinator, Mr. Holler was his name. And he gave me the hardest time, the grill. So I said, it's a white man. He works for a black man. I need to switch the strategy. I don't need to talk to him directly. I talked to him one time. I got my mentors at Aflac, a white couple, come in and talk to him.
Yeah.
And we closed the deal.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was the first big check I had ever seen.
Because you got commission.
Yeah, got a commission. That commission is nice now. 681 employees, disability plans on all of them. Company half sponsor, half paid by the employee.
Yes, sir. Them commission checks be nice.
Bruh, I had a great Christmas. Let's just say that.
I'm sure.
And that propelled what I did in financial. And then I came up underneath Carl Johnson out of Montgomery. He taught me all about financial planning and insurance, and his mentor. And I said, okay. And I learned I had outside clients. He gave me accounts. Trenton State College, Alabama State, the state of Alabama, city of Selma. He had me going in and doing all the insurance and benefits for those entities.
Dothan,
Alabama. Yeah, we used to. My boy.
I don't need that. It just popped in my head just then. I was like,
Dothan is a good city. I had clients in Dothan that I used to go down and see.
Yep.
I had I forgot what company it was, but I represented and did their benefits and stuff. So, yeah, man.
So anybody named Gerard down in Dothan is
Gerard.
Yeah, Gerard. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So so that's how my financial and all of that started. I opened an office. I ended up incorporating a company, Wealth Management Advisory Group, and I grew the business. I had an office here. I ended up coming to Atlanta. I had an office there, and then I worked with Michael Robinson Watkins, Eddie Robinson's grandson, with the Eddie Robinson Foundation, the coach at Grambling. He ran the foundation, put together the foundation. I ended up working with him. He's in Dallas now, a good friend.
Wow.
And that propelled, and then I started doing some athletes. My cousin was coaching at Georgia, got that opportunity. And things just flowed. And then comes music. That's that's the third part.
Wow. There's a lot of similarities though.
Right.
Because I never sold pizzas.
Right.
But I used to clean Pizza Hut ovens.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you do that? Because I used to see the pizzas go through there, and I'd be like, I don't want to be the person that cleaned that.
so I was
many crumbs.
So I was a person that cleaned
meat.
the actual. So you seen the pieces go in like, yo, who cleans these middle B Marshalls right here? Me.
Wow.
Right. And so my mentor back in the day used to have a guy that he knew that had a contract with Pizza Hut for all the Pizza Huts from like the East Coast. And I mean from like
that's crazy.
New York all the way down to like South Carolina. He had so many Pizza Huts. And, my spiritual father back then knew him and was like, yo, I got this thing. All you got to do is put a crew together. Y'all can have all the Pizza Huts in the DMV.
Right.
And he was like, bet. And so he went to the church and was like, hey, boom, you, I need you to come over here. And he gathered a bunch of dudes. And we travel all up and down DMV. Cleaning Pizza Hut ovens. And I mean,
crazy.
The store were closed.
It's crazy how many jobs.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
It's
until I used to look at, but I just started
it's
like
crazy.
they sprayed some stuff and my manager
Nah,
used to do it. I'm like,
man. I mean,
but yeah, I have,
you talking about taking the chains
oh
off,
yeah, all
putting
of
them
that.
in a
Very
trash
intricate,
can.
very
Oh
intricate.
yeah, getting all
Yeah.
the crud off of it, and oh yeah, man. So by when the store was closed at night, we'd be in the store at night
So okay, doing
cleaning
that
all the
job.
doing that whole job.
Wow.
So come to find out, as we are in this Pizza Hut cleaning business, um, somebody is one of the workers says, "Hey, to my spiritual father, hey, I saw your son on TV the other day." And he
Mhm.
was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He said, him and the group, they out there doing their thing, and they just did something. I'm looking at him like, "Your son on the TV? What does your son do?"
Right.
He was like, "Oh, you ever heard of the group Bone Thugs and Harmony?"
Right.
I was like, "Nigga, who hasn't heard of Bone Thugs and Harmony?"
Boom,
He was
boom, boom, boom,
right. He was
boom.
like, "Well, Wish is my son."
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, even though I never met Wish, no. But
Wow.
so CC one day, see, I call him CC because of
Yeah.
my spiritual father.
Yeah.
CC, if you ever watch this one day, like,
Where you at?
what's up, bro? Like
Yeah.
we almost related. No, I'm just like, but yeah, so I used to clean Pizza Hut
Yeah.
ovens. I also used to do insurance.
Right.
I had a couple licenses,
Yeah.
Series 6,
Yeah. I had
63.
those
I
too.
had a
Yeah.
couple licenses. Um,
I never even really used my Series 6
yeah, see,
because I did uh universal life insurance.
yep,
So I
Universal Life.
did a lot of that. That was the base of my business. And then I would broker all of that other
Yep,
stuff like the stock market stuff and all that. I
yep.
broker it off because I didn't want to deal with that day to day,
I don't blame
ticker
you.
tape type stuff.
I don't
So
blame you.
but man, that was the base.
Yeah, so like I said,
Yeah.
similarities. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
similarities that are there just from and once again, I mean, there are some parallels to people's
Yeah.
lives, and sometimes there are just complete opposites.
Opposites. Right.
So how did you get into so all of that,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then it's like boom, music.
Well, it's crazy because the music came by way of the military. A friend of a fellow soldier of mine's, Sergeant Harris, was his name.
Mm-hmm.
We He came to me. He was like, "I know you looking for stuff to invest in. I know you're doing well in what you're doing, and um, what do you think about invest or looking at an artist?" And I was like, "Okay." And mind you, this is in Montgomery, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "My brother's managing this artist in Australia," and I was like, "In Australia?"
Australia.
But his brother was a clothing designer and was a clothing designer with Cross Colors
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and was doing some stuff over there with some other clothing brands. And he had moved. His brother had moved there and
Okay.
was in the Marine too, but he got out the Marines and
Mm.
he was doing clothes and design.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up managing this artist. So I said, "Well, send me the stuff. Let me see what he is." So they ended up sending me this stuff, and the kids it was number one R&B, the progenitor of R&B, what they call R&B
Mm-hmm.
pop. It would be pop here, but R&B there
In Australia.
in Australia. But he was
Wow.
the number one R&B sensation in Australia. And he was signed to Sony Music
Wow.
Australia. And this kid, his name was Selwyn Pretorius. Uh, and he was from South Africa. His mom them had migrated and escaped to Australia
Mm-hmm.
and was living in Perth. He got discovered, was on Australian Pop Stars, came in third, but he ended up getting a deal by
Wow.
singing and pushing the trolley. The little
Mm-hmm.
what we call, they call them trolleys over there. What we call them over here, where you put your stuff in the basket and roll your groceries and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Shopping
Yeah,
carts.
shopping
Yeah,
carts.
yeah,
So, and he was singing, and a music exec discovered him and signed.
yeah. He in the grocery store,
Again.
like, I gotta get these
So
groceries,
so
man.
here I am over here in America connecting the dots. He was working on the second album and he wanted to do a deal here in America. And his manager, we hooked up. Manager flew here. I was working with Eddie Robinson Foundation
Mm.
at that time, working with them as a financial consultant with them, and put together some fundraising stuff. And man, he flew here, brought all his stuff. This dude had professional stuff from Sony, like CDs. He had opened up for Destiny's Child. I mean, this was
Mm.
amazing. I'm like, okay,
He's like, this
I'm
is my,
in.
I'm in
I'm in.
this.
This is
Let's
my in.
go.
So I just start kind of just headhunting around, and we got in the studio with James Groove Chambers. Groove, it was just coming off of Nappy Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nappy Roots.
Nappy Roots.
Nappy
Yeah.
Roots. All No, he did all no.
Okay.
He did like 12 records on that album.
Wow.
With Mike Karen, and he was at Tree Sound, and Tree Sound was empty at that time. And he was like, "Bro, I want to work with you on this kid, man." We brought him in, and I met Groove through exec over at Sony Music, who I ran into while through an artist that was on American Idol that came to a meet. It just happened. I mean, like
Right.
literally, it was crazy how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, wait, this is crazy. So once I got him, then I had a client who's also went to high school here. His name is Ryan Adams. And he was making beats. And he was also a client. I was selling him on insurance and financial planning. And
Right.
he was like, I make beats. I'm like, man, you make beats? He's like, yeah, I did this. I did the drums. But I guess he wasn't really in the game like that because he had businesses and other things. So he told me, yeah, I did this. Woo, woo, woo. I'm like, okay, cool. He played me card. I was like, oh, this is kind of hard, man. So he says to me, he says, I need you to come over to Bankhead. Now, this is why I still got this artist, Selwyn. And I want you to listen to this music and listen to what we got going on. And they doing this album. It's about to come out. And I just want you to come by. So I pull up. At that time, I think I had a S500. And I was like 26 then.
So he rolling, right? S500 now.
26. Yeah,
Right.
I was doing well. So I rolled up. It's on Bankhead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one street over where I grew up. You know, Harwell Road is right there. Collier Road, Collier Street, Collier Court, and Collier Street is right there. Not Collier on the east, like Buckhead, but the other Collier. So that's the one I grew up on.
Okay.
So, but it was affluent, neighborhood. But anyways, I pulled up, went in, they playing this music, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Played Bet You Can't Do It Like Me, Spaceships on Vacation,
Come on now.
Laffy Taffy. Then they played their records.
Come on.
And he says, this is my partner. It's my partner, Kool Ace. And Kool Ace is an Atlanta legend. If you from Atlanta, if you really from Atlanta, you know who Kool Ace is. If you're not from Atlanta, you better ask somebody. But Kool Ace, one producer, MC, artist. I mean, whatever he was behind Kilo Ali. He produced all that. Like he's one of the Atlanta. So they created a production company called Macramace Productions, and they had 3 records on the D4L album. And afterwards, he said, Prince, I need you to manage us. Now, mind you, I'm just an investor at that time. I don't really know nothing, but I have a dope attorney. I had a dope attorney who had ties to my family, Tuskegee, out Montgomery. And he was here in Atlanta, graduated from Harvard Law School, Sidney Robbins. Big up to Sidney, who was my first entertainment lawyer.
Wow.
And I made him the attorney to handle their stuff. So I knew business acumen from me doing business. So I just transferred it and then learned exactly what was going on and where the money was and what was going on. So I made sure they had their publishing and made sure they got their advances. And so I was there from the beginning of that movement. And that was my first gold project as a manager.
Wow.
I just fell into it almost
He
like
literally almost just fell right
right, right,
into it. But I think that speaks to certain things that happen in people's lives that automatically start to bring them into certain spaces that they may not have found themselves in based
right,
upon the connections that
right.
they've made.
And it's just obeying the call. And
Mm-hmm.
and then on the other side with Selwyn, we finished these amazing records. We had amazing, he had deals before Chris Brown even came out. I mean, we had deals like Jacob York,
Mm.
uh, and dang, what's the company that Gucci was first signed to, but Jacob was a partner with him. They offered us a deal. I mean, like, but his manager really wasn't. He was always doing something, so we never could finish the deals.
Mm-hmm.
But he had numerous deals. We had great music. Uh, man, actually, two of the songs that he was gonna add to my artist records that Jacob was gonna add was "I'm Sprung" and "I'm in Love with a Stripper."
Wow.
He was gonna buy those records
Wow.
from T Pain for my artist, and he played them in the meeting, and we're like, we're out of here. And God rest his soul, Vernon Slaughter was his attorney, sent over the agreement. They were finna put him in the house. I was finna be out of here. My investment was about to
Mm-hmm.
quadruple, but I don't believe it was time.
Mm.
So it didn't happen. And these are the stories that me and Jacob talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it didn't happen, but I got a lot of experience. And then we tried it again, and I brought Tariq Khan, who worked with Lil Jon and Vincent Phillips with BME and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
He was my head hunter and got me with all of the producers and Manuel Seal. So he
Mm.
had the greatest guys working with him. But it just goes to show you can have all of this, but you need the rest of the knowledge to
Mm.
complete the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was what I was missing at that point. I had money, we put money into it,
Right.
but we didn't have the rest of the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and the complete relationships, which I was developing at that
Right.
time.
Right.
So it didn't end up happening. So after that, I mean, I was working doing business management for producers and working with producers
Mm-hmm.
and helping them with their careers. And that's where I jumped on the publishing side and started learning that intricately,
Mm.
um, by seeing producers not get their checks and where's the money? I'm like, where's y'all money? 'Cause and they telling me, well, it got held up as a royalty. And then I said, I got to learn this stuff because I got to
Mm.
figure out
Mm-hmm.
what needs to be done for these guys to get what they supposed to get. You know what I'm saying?
But publishing is like it's the financial side of the music,
Right.
right? And
Exactly.
so your background aligns perfectly with publishing
Right.
because when you're thinking about where the money's coming from and how the money's generated, it's the publishing side. And
Right.
so to me, it's a natural fit
Right.
coming from someone who's
Exactly.
been operating in finances for a long time.
Right.
Moving into publishing is that
Segue
is
is
that
like a,
segue
yeah.
into, yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
it fit. It fit. And in between then, we got Lil Corey. I had successes, had another platinum record, Say Yes, which was an underground like
Mm.
R&B hit. And
Mm-hmm.
he was signed to us, to Stackham Entertainment. And we did well. I mean, there were experiences that
Mm-hmm.
I start doing, negotiating, artist deal and getting people signed. And I had a few of those experiences that kind of built me up to the publishing
Right.
side. And I really sat down and learned it, and then got a final tutorial from Bruce Ruffin, who was an artist over in London, but was here in the US. And he had some businesses here, but he had a publishing rights management company, and he had like
Mm.
5,000 copyrights of music that he managed. And I went
Yeah.
and sat down with him for like 3 months, and he taught me pretty much the ins and outs of copyright law and, publishing and the difference, writer, writer share, publishing
Publisher share.
share,
Yep.
masters, when the points and the
Composition and
composition and
yeah.
master
Yep.
royalty points and SoundExchange and all of the streams of income from publishing that you can have. So it just intrigued me. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to soak up and then implement in what I was doing. And that's why I start managing producers, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I always kind of work with anyways, was more the producers than the artists, and man, fast forward 8 years ago, I go to Chicago to help with my good friend's barbershop opening, help him organize it and organize the opening and the employees and watch after the money, that type thing. And man, I run into Bobby Stewart and Troy Patterson, where really Bobby Stewart and his partner DeShaney, a younger guy, in a studio session. And I'm with this artist, Katie Young Cocky, and the producers, D Brooks exclusive. And they asked me to come to the studio to check out these records they finished.
Right.
And so I come in. I didn't want to go that night. It was crazy because I was talking to my friend. I'm like, I really don't want to go. It was snowing. I mean,
Right. Oh yeah.
but I know how to drive in snow. But it was cool. But
they don't know how
it
to do
was
that here.
cold. If you know anything about Chicago,
Yes, sir.
Chicago's cold. So I'm like, I want to just lay here and relax. But I something in me just made me go. And so when I get there, everybody's like, Prince popped out. You know what I'm saying? So we sitting there listening to music. So they're turning around, and Bobby and DeShaney are sitting in the back, and they're kind of looking, and I'm like, okay. And they were asking me, the producer and artists were asking me what I thought, and I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Do. And then I turn around and I introduced myself and Prince Howard to them, and they were like, I'm Bobby Stewart. I said, what do you all do? And they said, well, we just started a publishing entity, and, we're looking to do pub deals, everywhere. So, cool. I like that. And they're like, well, do you know any? I said, I'm from Atlanta. They said, what? Oh, okay. You from Atlanta?
Like,
you from Atlanta? I'm like, cool, yeah. So immediately I put a big producer on the phone that I knew that was looking for a deal. They were like, oh, he for real. And that's how it started in terms of publishing deals.
Right.
And I was I was telling my managed producers. And so they were like, oh, okay. What you got? So I got back to Atlanta. I went in, came back in October of, I think that was 2017 or 16, one of those. I think either one of those. And I got to work. And at the time, they were revolutionizing kind of the publishing deal setup. And they were doing term deals with no commitments, no MDRCs, and like 5 years collection afterwards.
No term deals, no MDRCs.
No term deal, 3 year. Everything that you do is collected in that deal. What they own is whatever the portion that you get placements on, and they giving you your advance up front, the whole advance. So it's not split in half. So when I came back, and I had a couple meetings after that with them, and they were like, you seem like a good fit. That would be good to work, bring deals in. And we developed a relationship. And I got back to Atlanta. I think I did 4 deals in like a month and a half.
Wow.
Publishing deals. And that's the start of me actively being in publishing. And they offered me, and I had a little partnership percentage, and that's how I got started. And their deal was with Cobalt, and their company was Manicore, and their partner, it was him, Bobby Stewart, DeShaney, and his main partner was Troy Patterson, who had Mario, Third Street Music. So that's how I got started. And that was it. And I just started doing deals, and plaques.
Yeah.
And I was managing producers, so we were doing the placements, and uh, you know, that's how I got started, man. And it's been going ever since.
Yeah, I see, right? So because right now there's about over 60 gold, platinum, multi-platinum plaques,
Yeah,
probably more.
probably more now. Uh, we just got Jay Beats just did Nicki Minaj, so that went platinum. The Pink Friday too,
Mm-hmm.
and then not to count all Cassius J stuff. I came on the second part on the newer things, but um, man, so it's
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Through that part of your career, what would you say was the most defining moment in your journey?
Defining moment, I guess, was when I I guess I signed in this deal Lyrica Anderson.
Mm.
That was a defining because she was a big songwriter. A lot of placements,
Mm-hmm.
profile was on TV. When I was able to get that deal, I was like, wow, and I had some bigger deals that would have been huge.
Mm-hmm.
I had other bigger deals, but that was a defining deal because of the person, and there were more producers that were bigger that I had done, but
Mm-hmm.
with crazy catalogs too. But that was defining because it thrust me um, to the artist side,
Mm.
management wise. Uh, and that's when I kind of was like, when I saw her body of work, I was like, you're an artist too. And I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw all her stuff. I was like, what you doing with this stuff? Are you finna come out with something else? She's like, I want to. And but she had just had her son Ocean at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and she was just kind of trying to figure it out. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I think she came to Atlanta. She flew to Atlanta. I said, come to Atlanta so I can meet you. I'm your publisher. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
need to meet you. Um, I'm the one that put your deal together. I love to meet you. So she came in and brought her good friend, and we met, we talked, and it was a instant musical connection.
Mm.
And I said, you're dope, you're talented. You know what I'm saying? And I said, why don't you come back? I think I think on that trip we ended up going in the studio
Mm.
and start cutting records. And so I had to pick a side, either gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
publisher or manager. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll do the management. I won't be your publisher. I'll
Right.
let that part go. And that's what ended up happening. That's how we got Bad Hair Day
Mm-hmm.
and Marriott and Act a Fool, and that project that went
Mm-hmm.
on, I think it's like 70, 80 million streams, whatever it is. It's our highest streaming project, which I A&R'd as well. So I was able to put my ear,
Mm-hmm.
because to be a good publisher, you have to understand good music too. It's not just about being a publisher. You have to understand music and then understand the talent and what they can do.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? When
Mm-hmm.
picking and signing and choosing to give out money to, a potential
Yeah.
signee, you have to know that they're dope.
So let me bank off of that then. So what do you look for in someone like that that kind of lets you know that this is a person to invest in, whether it's from the management side, publishing side,
Yeah.
like what are some of those core characteristics that you look for?
I look for somebody that's going to work hard. I think with the talent,
Mm.
sometimes talent can't outwork working hard. Talent can only take you so far. But if you can combine both of those and find that middle ground, then guess what? You're gonna do well and you're gonna make it. Cause the talent, I see the music, I can hear it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm seeing, can you what is the output? Can you continue to put this out? Can you
Mm.
continue record after record, we get what we need, but with the guidance of somebody that has a good ear to say, no, not that one. Let's put this one there, or
Mm.
this song there. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm.
let's look at this record instead of that record. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good A&R. You know what I'm saying? Being able to do that, but also somebody that's looking at talent is combining all that together. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have one without the other. Because there's plenty of talented people that are not signed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But then there's plenty of people that don't have as much talent that work hard that are signed.
Yes. Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, what are we talking about? So we need both of those.
Yep.
So I'm very particular. You know, I have a songwriter right now, Alex Pendit. He was brought to me by my client, Cal V, who did my truck for Breland. And he sent me some records that the songwriter wrote to. And I was like, okay. But I had to take another listen. And I was like, this guy has it. This dude has it. If I'm wrong, let me test my hypothesis. So I sent the records. No, I didn't send them. Tim Kelly from Tim and Bob, who's my partner, gave me these tracks. And gave me like 23 tracks I had of his that are bananas. So I sent the songwriter these tracks. I said, write to these. See what you come up with. He has his own setup in this house. And he writes 6 songs in like a matter of 3 or 4 days. I send those first 6. I said, they got to go out of here. I sent them to Tim. Tim calls me back immediately. Who is this? Who the heck is this?
That's when you know you got.
He said, put him on the phone. I said, my hypothesis is right. I said, I had his writer. I first let him know. I had his writer. I had him write to your records because I had to see if he was really good and how hard he worked. I said, he wrote 6 records in 2 days. And he's writing more right now. And he's like, what? And that's the end of the story. And then now he's writing. He has probably about 6 or 10 placements coming up in the second quarter.
Yeah. You know, I mean, when you think about it, people need other people to recognize their talent and to give them a chance.
Right.
I think that's the thing that a lot of times is missing from the music landscape is record labels already want you to have like a huge following and already have #1 Billboard charting songs and all these other things before they even look at you.
Right.
But people who have talent and who work hard just need somebody to test their hypothesis to go, I think they got it. Let's figure out how to give them a chance. And then if they actually come through,
right.
And it's like, yep, I was right. I was right about that. So let's give them the opportunity to be able to to do what they're naturally gifted at.
And that's been my whole career, I believe, is working with individuals before they were hot, recognizing that they were already hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Slate the Monster. He was an engineer, producer, working with Stevie J and Anthony Dent, and I met him, and he was dope. He played me a couple of beats because I was managing this little female rap artist, and he was amazing. I was like, you dope as heck. You know what I'm saying? And he's our engineer, and I'm like, boy, you about to be crazy out here. And he ended up being crazy. Lil Uzi Vert, Cardi B, later. This guy is one of the top guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you never know. I mean, I can even go Cody Wiggins, who's a choreographer. I picked him out of a lineup of dancers from Dance 411. He had just moved from South Carolina here to be the choreographer, Lil Corey. We did a little high school tour, and he was the choreographer. And I said, he's dope, smooth. This guy ends up doing Cherish, Jazzy Faye's girl group, and then goes on. Now he's Justin Timberlake, Offset. I mean, he's huge. But I recognize the talent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you never know.
You never know.
And it takes special people to recognize talent, man. It does. And the music has to be, it's a gift, man. And if you're able to recognize talent and be able to put it in position and connect it, which is the business part, and connect it with the right so we get the results, man, you can't do nothing but win. I'm excited to see what this year is about to bring in terms of the talent and the people that I'm working with. You know what I'm saying? Because it's immense.
Me too.
And, King Los is coming. You know what I'm saying? I've been working with him. the lyrical maestro, hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are people. Big ups to Jazzy Faye who introduced us,
Mm-hmm.
introduced me to King Los a couple years ago, and then we reconnected when Tim was working on the Love album. So it's like this is a big circle. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the people that align with you are gonna align with you, and you're gonna create what you're gonna create. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just happy to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? And always happy to work with those. You can't give everybody a shot, but you gotta, just as long as you can. My grandmother used to say, if you can just help one somebody,
Right.
you done a great thing.
Francis, if you can help one person, but I mean, even to that statement, not everybody is probably even ready to be helped
Right,
at
right. That's true.
at that particular moment.
Right.
You know, and it's those people at that moment, at that time, you go, you know what, that person got it.
Yeah.
Like so I got aspirations for myself, right?
Right.
So one of the things that I've always wanted to do was to put together a production songwriting team. And I see people, and I think I have the same capability that you have of seeing people who have immense talent
Right.
that they may not even see in themselves.
Right.
And then to bring those people together to create something that's just crazy, right?
Right.
So when I used to do artist management, I don't do it anymore. But when I
Right.
used to,
Right.
there was this kid that I was working with. He's not really a kid; he was a grown man, but
Right.
um, he's mad younger than I am. That's so,
Right. Right.
so
Right.
now
Right.
he's
Right.
right. Super talented, super talented.
Right.
I seen him perform. Now I went to Kevin Shine was like, hey, come out, come see this,
Yes.
event that we're putting on.
Yeah.
Bet I'll come out. Um, and I went and saw the event, took my camera because I'm always like taking
Yeah.
pictures and stuff. And I saw a whole bunch of people perform, a whole bunch of indie artists perform. Ashley, Nashby, Jay West, I just seen all these people perform.
Yeah.
Because it was like one of those open mic night type of
Yeah.
things, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, this kid right here, bro, like out of everybody that's here, this kid got something crazy.
Right.
And I never really told him that.
Right.
And so then he came on to do an interview. This is like when we first got started doing these interviews.
Yeah.
And then after the interview, he was like, yo, he said, I really came on the interview because I wanted you to manage me. I was like,
That's
yeah.
dope.
I was like,
that's the way to go.
that's the way to do it, right? Like I came to do the interview, but my real objective is to see if you can, if you can manage me. Okay, cool. And I was like, yeah, let's do that because I believed in that. Like I still to this day, if there was ever a chance to get this kid an opportunity, I will figure out a way to do it because this dude is so talented
Right.
that I was at an event with I went to go see this conversation between Sunny Digital, DJ Toomp, and a couple other people, right?
My brothers.
Yes, and a couple other people.
Right.
And I was like, yo, you got to come out to this, right? Having this big producer thing because he's a producer and a singer and a rap. Like this dude is multi-talented. And he came out and we sat and we listened to the whole panel, right? And so after the panel was over, we go outside and everybody's out there.
Right.
Toomp is out there talking. Sonny's out there. I think Sonny had already left.
Right.
But Toomp is out there.
Right.
And so we walk out and I was like, hey, what's going on, Toomp? He was like, hey, what's going on? Cool. I was like, yo, I'm in manager mode, right?
Yeah.
Toomp, this is my artist, Jay West. Jay West, this is DJ Toomp, the legendary.
Right.
DJ Toomp, right? He was like, cool. And then they got into the conversation and because they share the same last name, they were like, wait a minute, we may be related.
Right.
And so as we're having this conversation, Toomp was like, oh, so what do you do? I was like, Jay West is an artist. He's a producer. Cool. Let me hear some stuff. Bet. And literally, I mean, I'm in management bet. I'm sending him stuff right there as we're talking.
Right.
Cool. All right, you got it. Send your email. Just let me know. Cool. So he said, I'm gonna listen to it on the way home.
Right.
All right, bet. Or when I get home.
Right.
So Toomp takes the music, gets home, listens to it. Hour later, he calls me. Literally an hour. He was like, hey, what you doing with this kid? He's like, that's exactly what he
Yeah,
said.
that's ATL West Side
He was
action. Thero High School right there.
he was like, yeah, what you do? He was like, what you doing with this kid? I said, I said, Toom, this kid got the skills to make it. He was like, let's set up a meeting. Bad. And so Toom came over here. We had like a 6-hour meeting, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we just played music and we just talked. And we played Jay West's entire album for Toom. And Toom was just like, oh, wait, wow.
Right.
And to this day, I don't know what, because I don't manage Jay West anymore, but I don't know what he's doing today. But man, this kid is so talented, bro.
Yeah, you know, sometimes talent can.
That was a plug for you, Jay West, in case you didn't know that, my brother. Still love you.
You know, sometimes talent, you know, they have to mature and really understand what you know, different how to business, how to move, and how to really get to where they need to get to, and who can get them there. You know what I'm saying? And be loyal to the end. You know, I was looking at Kendrick Lamar's story and how he signed with TDE, and he wasn't even the main artist, and how he was, you know, right behind J Rock. You know what I'm saying? And how he just kept working, you know, and working with the team, Soundwave, and his whole team out there. And look where he is today. And so he understood at a certain point young. I'm sure he was frustrated. The whole 9 went through whatever he went through, but he kept plugging. And that's pretty much what this side of the business is about. On the business side, it's about staying consistent, keep going, you know, keep putting up, you know, points on the board and doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? Because this game is what have you done lately? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, there's a lot of people laying on laurels that are past. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And not creating what the future is about, where it's going and what it's about to do.
That's true.
And being able to stay ahead of the game is the key. And that's why I chose publishing. And that's why I chose this side, which has allowed me to explore my other gifts as far as A&R, executive producing, sequencing an album, you know what I'm saying? Doing all those things that, you know, I have a gift to do, but really hadn't put it in place. I was able to do it. So I think, and that's my base, you know what I'm saying? And I think the next trajectory is successful Billboard charting artists, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then publishing, stay with publishing.
You're gonna stay with publishing. You're a publishing guru.
Yeah, and then masters, you know, putting out artists, you know, and finding that next person that'll change. You know, I'm an R&B guy, so I love R&B.
I'm an R&B guy too.
I'm a hip hop.
I'm an R&B guy.
A hip hop purist. Because when we were here in Atlanta, they didn't play rap on the B103.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there was a underground hip hop station that played all of the records. Like, so I was listening in high school. This was in 92, 91. We were listening to.
That's when I was in high school.
Yeah. So we were listening to, you know, Snoop coming out there.
Exactly.
Dr. Dre.
Yes, sir.
The Chronic. We were listening.
Chronic.
I mean, this was like
Gorillas in the Mist.
Who is this?
This
is crazy. I mean, come on, man. It's nothing but a G thing, baby. I remember that. Then you had
remember
Tennessee.
when it came out?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Then they were playing Coming Out Hard. You know, 8 Ball MJG.
Oh my goodness.
Remember, Mr. Big. They call him. Man, look, man, this is what we were listening to. I was listening to Up Top, Black Sheep. You know what I'm saying? Lords of the Underground. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it was Big L, Notorious. I mean, I don't think Notorious wasn't out then, but it was just so many Up Top from New York. We were influenced. Atlanta was influenced by that. And then when we finally popped, and we had like our booty shake, you know what I'm saying? Like our stuff, you know, that was popping off.
Yeah.
95 South, 69 Boys, Kilo Ali, you know what I'm saying? We had our own version of hip hop, you know, and Then Outkast and Goody Mob came with, Cell Therapy, and Outkast
Mm-hmm.
came with Southern
Cell
Playalistic,
Therapy was
Cadillac,
dope
Funky
though.
Music. You know what I'm saying? So
That was a super long album title though.
that
That
was, and
was,
get, but
but the whole album is
it's
friggin'
for
dope though.
man, what? So that's what we were dealing with. We were at the beginning of Freaknik. I was going to Freaknik in high school, catching Marta, sneaking. You
Catching
know what I'm saying?
sneaking in the Freaknik.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I'm over here in friggin' Alabama
oh yeah,
doing basic training
yeah, exactly.
during that
So,
time.
so it's like, that's what Atlanta and the culture. Uh, you know, I was listening to my brother. My oldest brother was at Maze with Vince Phillips, Chili, Shanti Das, some of the executives that Ray Murray from Organized
Mm-hmm.
Noise went to Benjamin E. Mays. It's just crazy. Like at Harper, Dream went to school there. Javon Sims,
Mm-hmm.
who's working with Divine and artist development. They went to high
Mm-hmm.
school. It's just like Atlanta was just this full, like Frederick Douglass High
Yeah.
School. It's a lot of over there. Then you had the South Side with Banneker with my cousin. Bone Crusher played football with my cousin Earl
Mm-hmm.
Chambers, and man, shoot. Uh, Collie Park lived around the corner from my
Mm-hmm.
cousin. So when we go to the South Side, we were hanging out with them. And, Monica was, I think, over there for a little bit. Then she moved when she got signed. But the South Side was a major hub, Jermaine. I mean, it
Yeah.
was
I mean,
just
imagine.
crazy, all these
Yeah,
sides. Then you had the East Side. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta, shaped my musical
for
landscape.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? And before then, sneak and listen to them R&B records, Mint Condition, Bobby Brown, and
Look,
everybody. MC
look.
Hammer, my first second. I remember my mom found the MC Hammer tape. She was like, "Please don't hurt him.
Please, what's this?
What's
What's
this?
this?
This is
This
blasphemy."
is
I said, man, he dance. He don't even curse in his music. He do the
right.
little typewriter thing. And we knew all the dances, me and
Oh,
my
of course
brother.
we did.
And she didn't know. We knew,
Of
but
course.
man, I just remember all of those. Every point in my life, music there
Mm-hmm.
was a I can pinpoint everything that was
Mm-hmm.
going on through music. I remember my uncles at like 6 playing the Winans.
Mm.
Tomorrow I give my life. And I was like, who is that?
Mm-hmm.
And and my uncle, his family was the Williams brother. He was married to my auntie. And his family's from Mississippi. The
Mm.
Williams brothers. Sweep around your own front
Y'all
door
still, you see, y'all
before you
still hear he
start
got
to
the
sleep
melodics though,
around
right?
my.
You see, yeah,
So I'm
he
just
got the
like,
melodics.
so I'm like, man, and they were sitting around my uncles, all them around the thing with the vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they the next ones. The wine, hey, bro, and they talking to each other. I'm looking at this banner back and forth
Mm.
about music. You know what I'm saying? And then my mom singing in church, and all of these different
Mm-hmm.
things. Me sing us in the choir, like that music was always a
It
part
was
of that.
always a part of, and especially for you, and for me too. Music has always been a part of our journey,
Right.
right? I mean, I remember listening to my dad. 'Cause my dad was a doo-wop dude, right,
Oh
up in
yeah, yeah,
Baltimore.
yeah, yeah,
It's smooth,
yeah.
smooth.
They do.
6'4",
Yeah.
walking around with the little the little towel on his shoulder.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's the sweat rag.
That's a sweat.
But he done put baby powder on it
Exactly.
and cologne. So when you sweat,
So when
the
you sweat,
smell already
ex-
there. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have
come
to
on
pull
now.
out because they
Come
didn't
on
have a
now.
little spray
They
back
didn't.
then.
So they got the rag. What is that? See, look.
Look,
You'd be like,
you gotta know.
you'd be like,
Hey, look, man.
but yeah, my
Like,
dad
why
was,
he smell good? He sweating. You done been out. But that
look.
rag is soaked with baby powder and
Exactly.
cologne.
I remember every time we would be out somewhere, when I would go spend the summers with my dad up in Baltimore,
Yeah.
they always call me Little Billy,
Uh-huh.
because my dad's name is William, so they
Yeah.
always call him Little Billy. What's so crazy is that my grandfather's from Virginia, but he has relatives in Alabama. My other grandfather, my mom's side, is from Dothan,
Right.
but lived in Virginia too, right? Which
Wow.
is so weird. Which is so,
Yeah, I lived in
anyway.
Virginia and Alexandria for a
Yeah,
couple years.
yeah.
Nice area.
We lived in Hopewell, which was,
Oh, I know where
yeah,
Hopewell
right
is.
by Fort Lee.
Yeah, Fort Lee.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
used to my ex-wife, her family's from Lewisburg.
Oh yeah.
So I used to be in Lewisburg and Fort Lee for training.
Yep.
So Richmond, that whole
Richmond,
area,
Petersburg. Right.
Peters Patch, that's what they
Right.
call it.
I went to Petersburg High.
You
So
did?
I did.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
where
yeah,
her
yeah.
mom went to school.
Okay, yeah. I went to
Yeah.
Petersburg High. Yep.
Wow, that's
Yep.
crazy.
I was interviewing Amadeus.
Okay.
And Amadeus is Trey Songz
Yeah, music director.
music director.
And Trey's from there. We were just on the phone with him.
So I, when I was getting ready to prepare for the interview with Amadeus, and because I know he was working with Trey, I was going back and doing some research. And as I was doing some research, I'm like I am a person who would dig into stuff and just read. And I'm reading about Trey Songz. And I'm like, as I'm reading through, it talks about, it's his dad and his mom.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it gives his mom's maiden name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Golson. Oh, nah, hold up.
Yeah, really.
Golson? I was like, oh, wait, let me go to Facebook. So my mom and aunt, when Petersburg and Hopewell,
small.
I mean, they literally
right next together.
right next together.
Right.
So my mom was friends with a bunch of Golsons. My aunt was friends with a bunch of Golsons.
Right.
And I'm sure somewhere my mom was friends or my aunt was friends with his mom.
Right.
Somehow, somewhere.
Right.
Because the Golsons they knew them.
Yeah.
And the Golsons knew my mom and my aunt. Like that was I saw this.
That's crazy.
I was like, nah.
That was the number one album I had. Trey Songz.
Nah.
We did GLA on Back Home. And when I was on the phone with him, he was like, "That's my favorite record on the album." My producer at the time, SOS, did that.
Yeah, SOS. SOS is SOS is dope.
So that was one of them. And Mike Angel wrote that record. Record. So it's like, man, you never know. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the world is small, and
the world
and
is,
the music game gets even smaller.
It's even smaller in the music game though. It's so crazy. Okay, so let me switch gears here for a moment because we've just been chopping it up for a minute. We ain't even really dive into like all the questions stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which I ain't gonna have time to even ask you.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to come do a part 2 or something.
Yeah.
But in case y'all don't know, Prince was also part of the panel that we did a while back, focusing specifically on music publishing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all go to the website. I'm gonna link it somewhere in here if I remember to do that. Right. To go check it out. Because in that, he was dropping crazy game.
Right.
So to kind of segue, so can you just talk a little bit about your journey with Made in Memphis, why you started Pacific Music Publishing, Royalty Genius, and what are your overall goals with those two entities, specifically those two?
Well, basically, so it was crazy. I got over to Made in Memphis. Ironically, it's great because it's always a connector, and I think people, when they're in music, forget who connects them with who, and how they got there. Not me. I always remember Mike Jackson, who worked at EMI, Sony Music Publishing, was consulting for them for Made in Memphis at the time. And I met Mike Jackson through my friend Walt Sutton, who was working with Mike. They were working together, consulting. And so I had this pub deal that I need to get done for a client. Fresco came.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Fresco had a record. He did co-wrote with Mariah with Prince Charles, and he hadn't got a pub situation. I was like, how? Like, what is it? So I took that record, and that was the first deal I did. Mike put me in touch with George Munger over there at the time, and we hammered out this 1-song deal. Wow. One song. And then I took the same, he recouped so quick that we were able to do a full pub deal. So I was able to do 2 separate deals with him at the same company. And then I ended up working closely with another artist and another songwriter and got two more deals done. And this is a matter of 6 months. And they were like, "Who is this guy?"
Exactly, I was about to say.
So
Who's this guy?
George was like, "Nah, this is Prince Howard. He's in Atlanta, you know." And from what I was told, nobody had ever had done a deal, was able to finish a deal with them, a publishing deal.
Wow.
So I was like the first one to kind of get a publishing deal on their publishing side done. And so I went and I talked to George. I was like, "So who's running the publishing stuff over here?" And he was like, no one's running it. You know what I'm saying? But I think you would be perfect for this position.
Mhm.
And I think, did I fly or drive into Memphis and met with Tony Alexander, the president, and Paul, who is one of the old school music execs, work with
Absolutely.
Jive, Zamba, work with Mr. Calder, the owner, on outside business ventures.
Which I didn't know at the time when I met Paul.
Yeah,
Right? I didn't know that
a monster. Like
when I met Paul, I did not know that because Paul came up. He had his his drink.
Yeah,
he was carefree. Hey, how's it going? I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? Right? I think he had like on a Hawaiian shirt or something like that.
He's gonna wear Hawaiian.
He had like a Hawaiian shirt on, and I didn't know nothing about this guy. And I'm like, who is this guy that I'm talking to?
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, I'm Paul. Hey, nice to meet you. And I'm like, hey, nice to meet you too. And then once again, not to cut you off, I go back and do research. When I meet somebody, I'm gonna go. What do they do? And when I went back and looked, I was like, oh shoot,
heavy.
I was like,
heavy.
yeah.
And so I had that meeting after completing those 4 deals. I had the initial meeting. They called me back, said, "We're gonna fly you in to our meeting of all the team, which was kind of like a team building thing." And I flew in, met everyone. At that time, a skill fountain was over there, Peter Thea. I mean, we had a nice, strong team, a good team. And they said, "Well, French, you got it." And we agreed on, compensation. And I started position, and I worked closely with Paul. And I was an A&R on the distribution side, the Beetroot side. It's their distribution company. So that was the Made in Memphis publishing side, which we had to figure out whether it's Beetroot Publishing or Made in Memphis. So they said Made in Memphis. So,
because I would see both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, became the director A&R on that side, and I got in, rolled my sleeves up, and got to work, getting relationships with producers that were already there, getting them involved in the process. Then transitioning to opening the studio here in Atlanta, which we had popping. We had that thing going crazy, and I spent 2 years there, and it was
You talking
great.
about before you?
Yeah, 4 years with Made in Memphis.
Yep.
I spent 2 years with the company, had an excellent experience, and we built something that's great, that's still going on, and we had some wins. I brought in wins, and so I'm very happy at what we were able to leave behind. I still talk to Paul. I still talk to people that were working there and used to work there. So relationship's still there. And then, I said, let me start my own thing. So I started Pacific Music Publishing, LTD, and then my partner, Rob Young, who's a business manager, him and his partner had Royalty Genius and was looking to relaunch it after COVID. So they were like, "Be a perfect person to lead the efforts." So we relaunched that company as Rights Management, collecting all digital royalties from the MLC on behalf of our clients. And we started that, and now I'm getting ready to add more things to it. We're fine tuning it. We're getting everything ready for the next phase of it. And then with Pacific Music Publishing, somewhere in June, July, August, I'll be starting to sign producers, songwriters to publishing, co-pub, and admin
Mm.
underneath my own entity,
Okay.
my own admin. So I just take things, I'm patient. I take
Mm.
things slow to everything's in place to really launch, but it's out there. People know about it uh, and excited about when I finally start to sign,
Mm-hmm.
about signing because of the vision I that I want to have. You know what I'm saying? Is being a
Mm.
publisher that connects with the labels, connects with the artist managers to get great songs out
Right.
and get the talent that I have signed in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
going back to A&Rs, going back to when, like Hitco was here in Atlanta, when LA Reid had
Mm-hmm.
Hitco and, you know, Small But Mighty,
Small but mighty. Like
Sean Garrett's,
and Sean
JQ,
Garrett the pen. Yep.
all of these came out of that that
Mm-hmm.
that that camp. You know what I'm saying? Shakir Stewart, bred some of the best execs in the game. Came from publishing,
Wow.
and Antonio Reed Jr. Friend of mine, so I can call him a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ran his dad's stuff and was worked over there. I mean, so that's the aim, and that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking to build, and it's coming.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm so excited about the
I'm sure.
next chapter of what's about to happen. And you know, I just stay building and
Mm.
putting it together because that's the financial side
Mm.
of my brain and entrepreneurial side is making sure everything's together so you don't have to stop once you started.
Right.
And
That's
so
right.
that's what I'm excited about. And the ultimate goal is to always do publishing. But this year it's going to be label stuff. Me and Tim got some big stuff happening right now. I'm so excited. We've developed our friendship over the last 3 or 4 years. I can call him a brother. And just to work with legends, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for them to say, you got it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You are the person that's going to do this with me, head this up, or you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's a blessing. And I'm always not humbled to the fact that I don't toot my own horn, but I'm humbled to the fact that you notice what
Mm-hmm.
this is, what I have. You know what I'm saying? That what I bring to the table.
Right.
And that's sometimes hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to make it be known, but have to let people know what it is.
Right.
And so I'm excited about pretty much everything that's about to happen. Some things I can speak on, some things I can't, but there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about to be revealed here over the next few months.
Can't wait. I can't wait. I'm super excited. I'm always excited to see what's
Yeah.
happening in your journey,
Yeah.
and just to see the progression of the things that
I'm
that
excited
you're
about
building.
this new lyrica stuff. Man, we done A&R'd another banger.
Uh-oh.
It's look, they thought Bad Hair Day was some, man, nah. What we about to do with this new stuff is crazy.
Mm.
And, I'm excited about it.
Hey,
And I like
let's
working
go.
with people that people think that they count out. You know what I'm saying? I've been counted out, you know what I'm saying, plenty of times. I mean, I've had
Shoot.
adversity, you know what I'm saying, but I don't subscribe to
Exactly.
that.
I don't either.
Even in my darkest time, or there's hope.
Mm-hmm.
There's the ability to look past something to accomplish the next goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so
You're looking for that thing that would light your darkest hour.
yeah, it's
Yep.
always there though, because that comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not on the outside controls what happens inside a place,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
the inside controls my outside. So my outside, no matter what it may be, I have control over that.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people don't apply that philosophy. So they let everything outside make them crazy.
That's right.
But
That's right.
that doesn't affect me.
Yeah. So like so once again, I got a lot of stuff right that.
Yeah.
So I am a certified Franklin Covey facilitator. So
Okay.
one of the classes that I used to teach a long time ago to like executives and frontline staff was 7 habits of highly effective people.
Oh, that's look.
And that's the
That's
concept right there. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
it.
That's the
Hey,
concept.
look. First, you must take responsibility for
That's
yourself
right.
before blaming anybody
That's
else.
right. You got to
That's
do
the only way
the
you
inside
become a
outside.
fully developed human being.
Yep.
When you realize that, then you realize that it's nobody's fault. It's you
Yeah.
that controls it. No matter what the decision you make, you must be responsible for that
Yeah.
and take hold of it.
Yeah.
And then if it's bad, make it good. If it's good, keep doing.
Keep doing it and make it better. I think that's the thing a lot of people don't understand is that they actually do have the power though. They
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
They have the ability to shape their environment the
Right.
way that they want to, no matter what the external circumstances are
Man, what?
around them. Like you could. So in Seven Habits, there's a thing that philosophy called carry your own weather, right?
Right, right,
And it's no matter what's happening, you have the ability to carry your own weather,
right.
regardless of what's happening. If it's a rainy day, rainy days, people are like, oh, I'm gloomy and
Nah.
down. No, you can carry that sunshine with
Oh
you
yeah.
no matter what happens, no matter what's happening over here, over there, what adversity you may facing, you have the ability to control your own decisions, your
Right.
own actions. I feel like I'm teaching 7 habits.
Yeah, yeah.
Your own
Nah.
actions,
Right.
regardless of that external
And you know
stimuli.
what? And these are examples in my own life that I could say that are paramount. I don't have to look at somebody else's journey. And no, I can go off my own
Mm-hmm.
experience. When my car was getting repoed, I was working to get launch this career that I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
We still found a way to find the happiness in that, continue on till I got the check. And I forged until I
Right.
got it. I remember going into a meeting with $5 for a lunch meeting. I'm dressed to the T and I got $5. And I'm praying that this dude pick up the tab. I'm, I'm in my mind like, "Listen, I
Lord,
done
please.
made the presentation of my life." And I'm like, God, I hope he pays this because and I know it's going to look a certain way because I know business etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, Brent, I got it. It's like,
You're like, you can feel
oh,
that relief, like
man, it was like 10,000 bricks
exactly,
off my shoulders.
exactly.
So I've seen this
Mm-hmm.
over and over again in my life be manifested. You know what I'm saying? And it's all spiritual. It's all God. I don't do this by myself. I'm being led. There's something greater than me that's
Mm.
leading me to do what I'm doing. And it's in a part of the business that everybody's uneducated on, that needs education, that needs to be put in good deals,
Mm-hmm.
needs to find their publishing, needs to do everything right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it needs to register their records, needs to do all of these things, needs to go find their master royalties after they recoup and get it from the labels. You know what I'm saying? Go get your digital royalties because physical sales are no longer. Now the songs
Mm-hmm.
on digital and the MLC got all your money sitting there. Like these are things that you feel me?
Yeah.
You end up helping and anybody, my fam, my whole family taught was you always give. You all because you're gonna receive
Mm-hmm.
what you give and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be blessed. Even when you stumble and make mistakes, you will be covered.
Mm-hmm.
Something will be greater than you to watch out for you. God will watch out for you. So helping and being in this is a service industry. You're no bigger than anybody else. So when I see all these people, high side and acting like they this and that, man, come on.
Mm.
Look, you the same person I am. We here helping people. We here providing music to people. You know what I'm saying? And we're making sure that these artists and these producers, songwriters, musicians get paid for the work that they do. That's why we're here.
Man, I mean, I think that's a beautiful note right there. I think that's a beautiful note to end on right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Man, once again, my guy Prince, man, I got a whole slew of other questions though, but man,
Yeah, we could do a part two.
yeah, man, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to come to the spot, bro.
Yeah, come to the
You know what I'm
office,
saying?
man.
Come into the
Come to the
office,
office, man.
hang out,
Yeah.
take you to lunch on my. I got it.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah. We won't sweat too hard.
We
You
won't
know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? It'd be my treat
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
But man, it's always a pleasure to see you. I always see
yeah.
you online, but we
Right.
hadn't really connected face to face since that initial meeting
Yeah, yeah, no.
at the AIMP
Yeah.
kickoff event. So, but man, once again, brother, it's
Thank
blessed.
you.
Much
Thank you
blessing
for
to
having me.
yeah,
Yeah,
man, much blessing to you, your
yeah,
endeavors, the
yes.
things that you were involved in, the people that you're involved in. May the sky is just unlimited for
Yeah.
what you're going to be involved in, what you're going to be doing. So I wish major blessings and prosperity for you
Thank you.
and the
Thank
things
you.
that you got going on, my brother.
I
So
appreciate you.
yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again for tuning in to another interview segment right here on We Create Music TV on the Indie Unplugged. I, of course, am your host, B. Vaughan. Once again, it's my guy, Prince Howard, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go follow him. You can drop your
Oh
socials
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that people
Definitely,
can.
definitely. At publishing underscore guru, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I forgot what it is. Guru underscore publishing. I don't put anything up there, but
He just got
mainly, you can find me there. And then Pacific Music Publishing, Ltd.com, and then Top Valley Business Consulting .com.
There we
Yeah.
go. So once again, ladies
And
and gentlemen,
Royalty Genius and
Royalty Genius.
royaltygenius.com as well. And then we have a studio in LA, gobirdland.com, state of the art. Come and see us.
Yeah,
Dirty Bird, platinum diamond producer, my brother, Brandon Parrott from Detroit, the Dirty D, is the main person. So, I'm
get it.
happy to be with him. And we're about to do great things out there. And we're excited about what's about to happen out there in LA too.
That's what's up.
So we everywhere. Houston, all my partners, we got other interests. We got Washington Park in Houston, the restaurants.
Mm,
Blush is opening today.
okay.
My boy Dolo Dorsey, my brother, the fam. So, hey man, look, we outside.
We we outside, y'all. Like shoot, we didn't even talk about our own connections with the homies Marty Arnold and C Vaughan and
Oh
all the things
man,
they doing
Six
at
X
with
Entertainment,
Six
baby.
X Entertainment and
Yeah,
just that's why we gotta do a part two.
yeah.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you. Peace.